Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Mind Shifters Radio with your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife, Jeanne. Michael and Jeanne share with you the wisdom of the ancient Aramaic internal process of forgiveness. They offer tools and support 5 days a week. They will support you in building a solid foundation within yourself to live in pure love. In Aramaic, Rachma. Michael is the author of So Why Is This Happening to Me Again? For more information on Michael and Jeanne, please visit www.whyagain.com. And now your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael and Jeanne Ryce.
To the brightness within you and the truth that is rooted within me.
You're not there, sweetie.
Let's try again. Welcome to Mind Shifters Radio with the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce. Today is Memorial Day Celebration 180, and it's the day after Thanksgiving, and we hope you had an awesome holiday and spent wonderful time with your family and friends. And our call-in number is 646-200-4169. Give us a call if you have a comment or a question. And David is on the phone with us already, and
Well, you cut out there at the end, sweetheart, but welcome everybody to the show. We're delighted to be here with you on this post-Thanksgiving day. So many people out there just spending their money as rapidly as they can, it would seem, with it being called the traditional, I'm not sure why they call it Black Friday. I'd rather go for Light Friday. In any event, speaking of Memorial Day and Veterans Day, we have an invitation to everybody that joins the show every day. We'll start out with this invitation. That is, we invite you to be one who brings a state of peace to the world by bringing your own mind of peace to the world. And if you think that someone else is the cause of your lack of peace, then we have some information for you that I think will change your life very dramatically, of course, if you're willing to have your life changed. And so the process we're going to bring forward is that of forgiveness. And our request of you is that each day you be willing to look at least one issue in your life where you're willing to do some forgiveness. And forgiveness not being about letting other people off the hook, but about changing what's happening inside of you. That's the original Aramaic forgiveness process. And if you'd like to access that technology and you haven't accessed it yet, or you're just partially into it, go to our website, www.whyagain.com, and on the right-hand side, there's a link that says Download Worksheets. If you download the first 5 links, that will give you the whole story on the internal Aramaic process of forgiveness. How do you go inside yourself and literally remove hostility and fear so that you can stand in your human life, no matter what's happening in your world, no matter who's doing what? It is possible. But it's not possible if you hold some form of blame for someone else for what's going on inside of you. So those links will give you the whole story. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. And, for a little information, as you talk about it, what forgiveness is and the meaning of the words and the brain cells that we have for certain things, then a little information about Black Friday. I, like yourself, questioned the language that's used for that, and I asked a fellow about it at one of the local stores, and he said that it is about them marketing and putting it out there that they want to do business and to be in the black. This is one of the biggest days for them to market and to keep things and to do things to keep things in the black with everything. So that's their marketing strategy, that they promote and to do things in that manner. And I think it could have come up with a different way, and so it's just a reality that they've got a lot of people. And what I said to them, I said, so does that mean the other days of the year within you guys are in the red, or we're not, it's not a profitable? Are you doing it with integrity? And that opened up a whole new file with different things. So it's more on the mindset of retail versus retail marketing. Anyway, I'm doing well. I know that we have several people that are involved in doing their forgiveness worksheets, 5 a day for the next so many days. I guess I could keep track of that and give an acknowledgement of how many calendar days, which day are we on for doing the 5 a day.
I think we're on day 5.
Pardon me? We're on day 5?
I think we're on day 5.
We're going into my 26th and 27th worksheet, or at least started them last night, so we finished the 5 days, and I put in a couple of extras. So we're on day 5. So we've got 5 days to go to get to the end of the year and complete the year out with a 40-day forgiveness fast.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah. You mean the master is doing 5 worksheets a day? What is that about? I thought, Michael, you created this tool, and you've been doing this for decades now. You're still doing worksheets? My goodness, I would have thought that you would have arrived. I'm doing this worksheet.
Well, I have a suggested alternative to going out and being a consumer today and creating more waste and spending more dollars that go to China in order to perpetrate some of the insanities that are going on there. And I have 2 suggestions. You might want to join us to do the 5 worksheets a day for 40 days. That would mean you'd have to catch up on 20. Or you could start today and go into January 5th. That'd still be a pretty cool happening, a way to clean out the old year, 2011 to 2012. And there's an interesting thing that's been discussed, and that is the Mayan calendar and the end of the world Mayan calendar. Well, if you look at the actual Mayan ideas on this, they had 3 different calendars that they used, and one of the calendars was the calendar that they used on a daily basis to determine what energies the universe was bringing to them. And this particular calendar comes not to an end, but to a completion of a cycle. And the cycle that's ending is that of control and power. And the new energy that's coming in 2012, the new world that's going to show up is one of integrity and ethics. So there's an awesome video. I think there's a link on the website for mindmagics.com. It's a fellow named Ian Lungold that does about a 3-hour video. It's a freebie online. So instead of spending money on Black Friday, watch Ian Lungold's video. And then the other thing I would invite you to do, and I don't know if we've got a link on it yet, but Jeannie, maybe you could pick it up from YouTube and put it on the site. Last night, we completed watching a movie called Thrive. You would do so much better to watch that film today than be out spending money at, all the junk goods that we can find to satisfy our cravings for the drug of possession, of owning things, of possessing things. So my invitation is jump on Google, video the movie Thrive. You can watch the whole thing freebie. It is awesome what these folks have put together, the level of understanding, the level of knowledge, the level of what they're uncovering, and then they've created a website to back it up. You can go verify everything they say. Everything they say is absolutely right on track. Watch the film Thrive, and it will open a new space in your world. And they offer several solutions to the dilemma of what's going on in our political climate, what's going on in our physical climate, what's going on with our food. They offer just a whole series of solutions so awesomely and so powerfully then I invite you to go to their website and to look at and tap into the movie Thrive. Jeannie, do we have any callers or anything happening in the chat room? Is Dr. Tim with us?
There is an 815 number. Tim, I don't know if you keep using different numbers or what. If that's you, then you're on the air. But otherwise, Nene says, hello, my heart family. This is Nene. Keeping the commitment alive, 5 worksheets a day. It's working fine. I did breathing as my daughter is in a health crisis, and my hostility fear content was very active yesterday. I am feeling a lot better. Thanks, David, for his loving support. So pass that on to David.
So that 815 number that is on the air, is that Dr. Tim?
Possibly not. That might be Dave Womack.
Well, hey there, good sir. I tried to reach you yesterday.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Well,
Actually,
you.
I tried to reach you yesterday based on the email that you sent me just to say hello, and you were reporting on some of the benefits you're getting from doing your work. And then Jeannie told me this morning that she got an email from you about wanting to participate in intuitive development next summer. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. It's great work.
What exciting things are happening in your world, Dave?
I just learning how much of the things that come up for me are really things I've been dealing with my entire life, and I'm willing to let them go. How much they really affected me in my relationship, and really kept me from reaching my potential.
So you're experiencing some of those blocks moving out of the way? Is that what I hear? By the way, for anybody who doesn't know who Dave is doing a support group up in Cary, Illinois, along with a young lady named Carrie. He was at all the workshops that we did when we were up there a few weeks ago, and just brought person after person after person to the workshops, is really out there supporting people in this process of healing. So that's Dave Womack that we're speaking with from. Are you in Crystal Lake or Cary, or where are you located, Dave?
Well, I'm in East Dundee, which is south of Cary and Crystal Lake.
Cool. Well, is there anything we can do to support you? And after the show's over, I'll give you a call to talk about the Intuitive Development Intensive.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The tools are great. I think a lot of it is work that I need to put in. It's just the constant awareness, having someone to call and talk to as I work through the sheets is a great idea. So I appreciate the network. Wonderful thing.
Well, I think it is awesome. The community that's developing around this radio show is fabulous, and we're actually looking at whether or not there might be a way for us to turn it into a television show as well, that we do this live call-in show and have a video feed available on the Internet. That's something we're looking at, the different technologies. I'm working on building brain cells for what might be the best way to go in that regard. If there's anybody out there that has some intimate knowledge of that video technology that's available, we'd appreciate your feedback and input about that. But Dave, we appreciate the fact that you're supporting so many people in the work, and this show has certainly become a wonderful addition to what we've been doing for the last 40 years, and up until the show started back about 9 months ago. When we were in a city, if a support group didn't start, people were on their own, and so now 5 days a week we can live interact with folks, and it's just an awesome opportunity to have that.
And I will say that the people that show up to our group they're enthralled, and I believe the tools should be available to everyone.
I'm in agreement with that. That's why we're working to do what we do. Do you have any exciting news to share from the support group? Any interesting miracles or shifts and changes that you've seen happen and to share in that regard?
We did. In the last meeting, we had a woman that hadn't talked to her sister in many years, and she was doing a worksheet around it, and later that day got a call, and that adversarial relationship, and the sister was very open and talked.
So after she completed her worksheet, the sister spontaneously called her?
Yes.
After years. That's about the fourth story like that we've heard just the last few weeks. That's so awesome, and it's such dynamic proof of the power of the energy field that each of us carries and the impact that it has literally all over the globe. And when the physicist Yeshua said a little leavening leavens the whole loaf, that's the thing that inspires me, because all we need is a few people who will really, truly live a human life, and we are going to impact the whole of humanity. And so, and that movie Thrive that I spoke of, that's what it's about. It's about people living real, true human lives. I wish they had the forgiveness piece. I think I'll be in touch with them and offering that, but they're doing some work with that film Thrive in their website.
Mm-hmm.
Any other awesome stories to share?
Well, more in the making all the time. So, just living in the energy, and for me, just the happiness and the release that comes every day. And I talk to people, that meet me, and they're like, please, come talk to me anytime. You just give me such, a positive lift when we talk together, and that has a lot to do with just, being able to be in the moment at all times and be positive, and that's just the repetition of the tools and the concept. So, I'm just having a normal conversation with people and encouraging them, and it's definitely a different walk, I'd say. A lot of people are just, beat down and frustrated. So, any spark of life that they see is, it's a great uplift for them.
Very cool. Well, are there any questions about the work that we can clarify for you, Dave?
I believe I've got a pretty good handle on it. So, I know a lot of the work is really just letting go of my goals for other people. Because then, as I let go of my goals, I'm able to better connect with divine, intuition, with Ruka Dakucha, and in that become all my the release from all my fear, the answers to my problems pop up. That's get more aha moments. Win-win situations become much easier, but it's all in that, letting go of goals and reconnecting with Source.
Awesome. Well, it's a delight to have you on the team and to be on your team, and we'll look forward to the next time we get face-to-face. Sounds like next summer we're going to get to do that, so we will be in touch, sir.
All right. Excellent. Look forward to it.
Okay, blessings. Thanks for the call. Jeannie, anything happening in the chat room? Callers. Our calling number, by the way, is 646-200-4169. 646-200-4169. We'd love to hear your sweet voice and support you in whatever questions you have about the work, whatever process is going on in your world. I know that with the big holy day yesterday, more people getting together than do on Christmas, and probably has given a few people some opportunities to learn forgiveness, being back with some of those family members that perhaps you don't connect with that often because of the things that come up. And we'd love to support you and hear your thoughts and questions, or share your experience of how different your holy days are with the fact that you're doing forgiveness work. Jeannie?
We do have two people on the switchboard. The first one is 954. Is this Nene?
Yes. Hello, my heart family.
Hello.
Well, hello there.
Well, I'm very thankful that we started doing this 5 worksheet again and being connected and sharing with the pair. For me, all these days, it's been a super support, and my process is deeper and deeper. And I would like to share the fact that, my daughter again has another crisis of, pain and a lot of her stuff right now. She texted me yesterday, and then I called her back, and she was feeling sick, and she had a cold, and I asked her what was going on emotionally. I said, what's going on emotionally? And then she told me a few goals that, they were not met for her, and then that she can't work the same pace as she wants, etc. So she was really in a lot of tears, and I started breathing, and I just guided her, and we canceled about 5 goals together. Let's cancel these goals. And then, I told her a little about the breathing and reminded her who she truly is and her true nature, etc. We did that. Then I connected with Dave, and he reminded me to breathe. So I went ahead and I did approximately 45 minutes or so, 40 minutes of my still point breathing. And it was awesome. It really brings you back to life. The connection of the breathing to source is so important. And so I wanted to share that and encourage all our listeners and people who are working with this incredible tool, to take these days and do your worksheet and also do the breathing. And then about 20 minutes ago, my daughter texted me, and I called her. And I asked, okay, how are you feeling today? And she said, Mama, I'm feeling a lot better. She was in a more quiet space, and so it was amazing. Her voice, there was a different voice. Her attitude was more calm, and so I just wanted to share this with everybody.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, you're acknowledging the doing 5 worksheets a day again, and that it's not so long since you did that, but it has been a while for me since I've done committed 5 worksheets a day, and so it was really, I'm finding it, going into day 5, I'm finding that it's really fun to be looking at some of those little hidden parts of my mind that are always there niggling away, but not really allowed to come to to awareness, to come to the surface. And if you haven't done the 5 worksheets a day for 40 days, we invite you each to jump on the team and do that. And if you want to email David's he's the one who came up with the idea of finishing out the year, the 40 days up to December 31st with the 5 worksheets a day. And email him for connection with a partner, and the idea of having a partner is that you have someone to report to at the end of the day.
Please enter your password, or if you've entered the wrong mailbox number, press star.
Jeannie, could you hear that message?
Please enter your password, or if you've entered the wrong...
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Everybody looks like they're still connected. Nene got dropped.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it went into her voicemail or something. But anyway, if you want to jump on the team and do the 5 a day, you could email David, and he's been hooking people up, and his email is DAVID, David Hayes, HAYES, @WHY.com. And he'll connect you with a partner to support you in doing the process. And it really is. It's awesome to. Sometimes when you first start, if you're new to the work, it can be a bit of a challenge because you can start touching into a lot of things that have been, major issues that you've never really wanted to look at or deal with. But once you get the process underway, it really becomes fun to look at those little parts and go, oh, gee, I didn't even realize. Oh, look at that. Look at it. It's awesome. So we invite you to jump on the team and do that. David, do you have any other thoughts about that 5 a day for 40 days?
Yeah, one of the thoughts that I have with it, Michael, is the when you in the video Purpose, Personal Power, and Commitment, one of the things that you go into detail about, and this may be appropriate time in order to talk about it, is how much every consideration about doing this is going to come up. And most of the time, people's consideration, the one thing that comes up is how much time that it's going to involve in doing this. And in reviewing the Purpose, Personal Power, and Commitment, you talk about time, that in order to arrange our lives to build our spiritual body, then we need to commit to 10% of our day towards that. That's 2.4 hours or 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And usually, the first time that a person even thinks about that is, wow, gee whiz, 2 hours or 3 hours, and devote it to doing that, because, a lot of people will say, well, 5 worksheets, I don't have time in order to do 5 worksheets. And really even looking at it, if it took 15 minutes for a worksheet, and most people will then, sometimes starting out with it, it may take 10, 12, 15, even 20 minutes to do one. And I recommend to spend the littlest time possible doing it. Just kind of do your intuitive thing and go right through it. So let's say that a person even spent 15 minutes per worksheet. That's an hour and 15 minutes a day. That's 5%. That's not even 10% of the time devoted to the spiritual development of that. And so that the resistor and the resistance to doing it on a time basis, and when you really look at it simplistically, it's very little time to give towards building your spiritual connection. And how much time is spent in our mind and the repetitiveness of the conversations that go on in the mind and continuously building and redoing the same thing. So it's a very minute amount of time. And as Nene was pointing out, the benefits and the value from doing it are immeasurable when it comes to it. It was nice to hear Dave talk about the person and the reconnection and that the person had with the sister. And, that's what we all want. We all want to have fabulous relationships. And how much time are we spending on a daily basis contributing to our own spiritual development? And that's really what doing the 5 worksheets and the commitment. And by connecting with another person, we're opening ourselves to the universe of that energy field of being able to then connect with another person out there, of one that we've may have been estranged from for a while. So, yeah, keep playing it. Use that energy, use that light energy and that frequency in order to tap into it. So that's my thought.
In that regard, one of the games of the world is to get us hooked on the drug of busyness. Oh, I don't have time because I'm too busy. And the things that most people spend their time in busyness are things that really have nothing to do with their actual human lives. It's got to do with all the games of the world. And so, number one, if you take the time to do that, you'll be letting go of a drug. And when you let go of a drug, what happens is you leave behind an insane world that exists only between your ears. Of course, there'll always be somebody else to blame for it, but the fact that you're experiencing it and feeling it means it's happening between your ears. It's yours. It belongs to you, although your brain can make up pictures of how it's all everybody else's fault. So letting go of the drug of busyness. And then the second thing is, for really, the genuine things that need to be done and handled, doing the worksheet, doing the forgiveness process, and alleviating yourself of the stresses of the non-being world, of the world of hostility and fear, pays such dividends. It'll pay you back the time just by the fact that you have such a higher level of clarity of mind and body, a higher level of clarity of function, and you'll get your time back in that regard. And the dramas and traumas that you're not going to have to create because you've cleared the dramas and traumas out of yourself will give you back so much. I listened to Dave's story about this woman who hasn't talked to her sister in years, and she does a worksheet. Now, I don't know what she cleared out, but here's my offering. I've shared in several occasions the work I did about 30 years ago with a fellow named Marcel Vogel, who was a 23-year senior scientist from IBM. Marcel had the instrumentation in his laboratory with which to take a picture of the high-energy waves that leave the mind when we think a thought. Now, here's my offering. The woman who hasn't heard from her sister or communicated with her sister in years has an energetic pattern in her that says, sister, stay away. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with this that's inside of me. Now, how much struggle, how many nights she laid awake going, oh, my sister and my relationship with my family, and what other traumas have shown up with her female children, perhaps her mother, who knows all the extensions of this. And as she goes in and removes this energy that holds her sister apart from her, all of a sudden her sister picks up the phone. Nene shared with us about 2 weeks ago, she had a client. Nene is a teacher of the work down in South Florida, and she had a client that was having challenges with her son, who had lived in her home up until 10 years earlier, and the son literally just took off one day, and she hasn't heard from him in 10 years. She knows he's around town, but he doesn't communicate. And so she does some work with Nene, some worksheets, and Nene suggests that she read the commitment from the Healing Through Relationships workshop to her son's picture. And 3 days later, there's a knock on her door, and there's her son. How much stress is relieved from her and her son in their relationship in every area of their lives when something like that happens? Jeannie had a man a few weeks ago that was at the workshop as well. He was at Healing Through Relationships while my wife and I are on the verge of divorce. And Jeannie suggested that he start to read the commitment to her. And this man called her a couple of weeks later. He said, I can't believe this. My wife and I, it's like we're on our second honeymoon. We're just having an awesome time together, and the whole idea of divorce is gone. And she said, well, what have you been doing? She said, well, what do you suggest? I've been reading the commitment to her. And Jeannie asked, well, when you read it to her, does she read it back to you? And the response from this gentleman was, what do you mean? She doesn't know I'm reading it to her. So he wasn't going face-to-face with her. He's doing it behind closed doors. And the relationship changes. We are energetic beings. We can change the things happening around us. And Jeannie tells me that we've got a couple of callers online, so let's go to our callers. Jeannie?
Okay. Nene says she got disconnected, but she just wanted to also add that it was awesome to be on the team. And I told her that we were glad that she was on the team. And I put in the chat room the links to the Thrive movie. It is also now on our website. If you go to whyagain.com, that's WHYAGAIN.com, and then go down the menu and click on links. It's the top one on there. I put both a link to the thrivemovement.com website and also to the full 2-hour movie. So they're both on there on our site, so you can pick those up. And both of these callers are from Oregon. So I'm assuming they're probably Julie and Julia, but it might also be Carolyn. So the first one, you're on the air. 541.
I guess you're talking to me.
I am.
This is Carolyn, and I just want to report to you that I have done 5 worksheets only. I promised Julie I would do one a day,
Awesome.
and been on 5 phone calls, this being number 5. And yesterday, my daughter, in a text message from her iPhone, blew her stack. I mean, the rage was like it was coming through my computer. It was like, oh, my God. And I didn't collapse. It was amazing. It was so awesome, and I so appreciate you being out there and Julie encouraging me to do this work, and she helped me, Julie did, for the first 2 worksheets, and now they're coming easily or easier, and I'm just very, very, very grateful. So I can see that my trigger to my daughter, I know how to handle it now.
So, Carolyn, first of all, I want to acknowledge you for having the courage to do that and the courage to call in and share it. I want to acknowledge Julie, for being there to support you. And you bring forward a really powerful principle here that I'd like to reinforce for people who maybe haven't been involved in the few conversations that we've had on the radio show over the last couple of weeks. But your daughter is in her rage and has been for quite some time. And just for our listening audience, what Carolyn had shared with me was that her daughter would rage and then you'd go into your trauma and pain. And the fact that you have started doing forgiveness work, you're removing your trauma and pain around this, and your daughter rages, but you don't have to go there anymore because you've cleaned it out from you. Once we can get, and this is the whole idea when we create the request for everybody to get on the team of cleaning things up in their lives to change the world of war, when everybody gets that their pain is an internal experience. You weren't in pain, as we shared with you a couple of weeks ago, over your daughter being in rage. You were in pain over your pain. And you're clearing your pain out, and the relationship with your daughter changes, even though she goes on. Now, if she can just get the idea that her pain is about her, and we get this, it's going to be like dominoes that fall all over the planet as a hostility and fear-based mind begins to be dissolved on planet Earth. We're going to change, and we're going to have a world of peace instead of a world of war.
Right. Well, I'm just very grateful, Michael. I mean, before when my daughter Julie would rage, I'd totally collapse and cry for days. Last time she raged, when I saw her for 2.5 hours, I cried, not outwardly but inwardly, for 6 weeks. More than that, actually. So it's huge for me. So I'm just very appreciative, and thank you.
Well, my physiology bubbles over with joy for you.
Thank you so much.
Delighted, glad to be on the team. And you know, there might be a place, Carolyn. You know, you can go to the website and you can download these shows, and as MP3s. And I don't know if it's appropriate. You might take a couple of the shows where we've talked, and you might just send them to your daughter and just say, this might help. We might be able to shift things in this family system of ours. I know that it's impacting me. Give it a listen. And, and she might rage on a deeper level at you doing that. And then again, she might go, yeah, I've got so much pain. It's time for me to do something and to make a shift. So,
well,
cool.
That might come up later. Right now, she's not willing to take any suggestions from me at all.
Sure. I understand. And, of course, she's standing in the space of projection. It's all your fault.
Right.
And That's what almost everybody on the planet who's filled with rage and fear is doing. It's all somebody else's fault, and I'm an innocent victim, and I'm powerless. And when we stand, and I'm saying this for everybody that's listening to the radio show, if you've thought yourself to be an innocent victim and your rage and your fear has run your life, you're not. The only one you fall victim to is yourself. And when you change your internal dynamics, all of that victimhood stuff just goes away. People are going to do what people are going to do. You can't change that, although what you hold in you does change that. You can change your response to it. You can move out of that pain and out of that trauma and simply stand in the space of a human life. And for those who haven't listened to the show where I've asked that question, when we look to establish what human life is, we invite people to just hold the newborn child. And you can bring your, and again, I'm saying this to everybody on the show, you can bring your newbornness, that awesome presence of love that you are, to every circumstance in the world, to every circumstance in your life. And you become the transformer of those circumstances. Just like Dave, when we opened the show, this woman hasn't talked to her sister in years. She does some worksheets around her sister, and all of a sudden her sister's on the phone to her after years of separation. You can impact and change the world. You are that powerful, and we are here to support you in doing that. So, Carolyn, we're delighted that your holy days are becoming holier, and we hope that Christmas and the New Year will bring the best year yet of your eternal life. Thank you for the call.
Thank you, Michael. I have a question.
Oh, sure. Go for it.
Where do I find this sweet butterfly story?
Say it again.
Where do I find this sweet butterfly story? Or
the rose and the butterfly?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I can share it with you now. It's a great story that we tell. It's on the 2-hour DVD of Why Is This Happening to Me Again?
On our website as well.
Oh, it's written on the website?
Yep.
Under what link, sweetie?
Under Stories, Quotes, and Links.
Okay, great.
Stories, Quotes, and Links. So the story of the rose and the butterflies is pretty simple. Imagine we've got a rose and a butterfly. We give them each an ego. They meet. They fall in love. They have this wonderful time together. And one day the butterfly up and flies away. The rose, knowing that the love of the butterfly is the most important thing in its life, uproots itself to give chase. What's going to happen to that rose? Obviously, it's going to die. Why does it die? It dies because it made something more important than being connected to its source. Our source, our human lives, our human beingness, is that awesome presence of love, that newborn state. When we make something more important than that, we voluntarily give up our lives to hostility and fear. And the whole idea of this work is to restore the active presence of human life to every mind, heart, and being on planet Earth. That's how we're going to create a world of peace and eradicate war from the planet.
Thank you very much, Michael and Jeannie.
Does that fill in your question on the rose and the butterfly?
Yes, it sure does. Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you. Blessings. Jeannie, we have another caller?
Yes. We have, hold on, let me get it switched over. And I believe it's Julie Matthews.
Yes.
Well, hey there, young lady.
Oh,
now,
thank you.
See what an awesome impact you've had on the world with what Carolyn just shared. Isn't that just awesome?
Yeah. It felt so good to hear that. I just love her so much.
Doesn't get better than that, does it?
No, it's awesome. Thank you. This is so amazing. Gosh, I love the power of all these worksheets being done is just energizing and brings so much hope and possibility, like the dominoes you were saying. I love it.
Yeah, let's thank David for inviting us all into recommitting and doing that for the next 40 days. That's very cool, David. Thank you.
You know, this is the true power of the 99%, you know, but the 99% is waking up to this, and it's like so awesome. What a vehicle you have created, Michael. Thank you.
Well, I was driving across northern Michigan. You may not know the story, or maybe I told it when I was out there. I don't remember. But I was driving across northern Michigan about 30 years ago. I was driving to the town of Grand Rapids. And I'm out on the interstate, on the open highway. And personally, I've been working toward and researching the whole forgiveness process for about 15 years. And I finally came across the Aramaic work on forgiveness, which is what we're teaching, what those 5 links are on the website. And I was starting to comprehend out of my own non-being mind what being was. And I said, God, I will take this. At that time, my language was to every mind on the planet. And what we're doing now, almost 30 years later, is a result of that commitment to do whatever it takes. And nobody will ever know. I mean, David's been at Heartland for 5 or 6 years. Jeannie's been around. Those who watch the human dynamics that show up in the stuff that comes up for people and the way people do their craziness, but no one will ever really know what the last 30 years of doing this has been, and it's so delightful to see the acceleration of the fruit of the tools. Over the years I hear from a person here and a person there, and now that we have this radio show where we can support people 5 days a week and hear people's stories, it's very heartening to know that we have had the privilege to look into the mind of the man named Yeshua and what he taught in his original Aramaic. For those who might not know it, this work comes out of the Aramaic language, which is a physics language and is the root language of at least 6 of the world's major religions. And we've had the privilege of looking into his mind in his original Aramaic, decoding it, understanding how it worked, taking it into the laboratory, the classroom, over and over and over until we finally understood what he was talking about. We finally have the eyes to see and the ears to hear and can understand the why and how of this forgiveness process. Personally, as I say, it's been 30 years. The first worksheet session was probably taught by me back about 27 or 28 years ago now. And I feel like in the last maybe 2 years, I'm really starting to comprehend it at last. So that's a little bit of the history of this take on forgiveness and this understanding of forgiveness.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's a great story. And as you were saying that, why I called, I like the word you used, laboratory or laboratory,
right?
Because I am a laboratory too. And
yes.
if I want to move out of my victim and into my creator energy, I get to use what comes up for me as a laboratory and move, study it and move with it and let myself observe what's really true and go with that, keep going with that. And it is like being a scientist. So I hear what you're saying about how many lives have contributed to the really establishing the learning into your whole being, all your brain cells, your whole body, and your whole world around you, which you keep extending it to. So that's really great. I want to share something.
Yes.
I'm creating now. I'm taking responsibility. I'm bringing my newbornness energy to transform something in my life. I've been sharing about covert resentment stuff that I've been seeing differently as it's been shown to me recently here through some family things, that I've taken on that behavior, and I don't really need to do that behavior anymore. And the flip side of it is to take responsibility as a creator. So, for example, my partner, Ed, has often said, I'm too busy. I'm too busy for this and that. I'm really busy. So, and I keep wanting to create this relationship using the new tools that we have here from your work. So instead of trying to get him to cooperate with me so that we can create and design what we're going to do about this and that, he's kind of going along with the flow and letting things unfold. So I realize he's actually giving me total power to create the relationship the way I want it. And so
awesome.
I have to take responsibility for it, but I get to create. And I asked him this morning, I said, because I really got it, and I kind of cloaked it in, well, I'm the female, you're the male, okay, because of information that's in my brain already about that sort of thing. So I said, I will play the role of creating the framework for our healing so that we can clear out anything that's in the way of us creating a relationship from love. I'm going to set up the framework, and I just want you to agree to it. And it's something that can't change over time because we know the nature of this work. Things are going to shift. So basically, I want you to be a happy camper, go along with what I set up, and give me feedback so that, we can keep creating. And I finally got that I'm the creator of it. And he said, yeah, that sounds great because you're the one that wants it, and I just want to be with you. so it's so simple.
Cool.
I know. So I get to do this, and I'm making notes, and I just feel like I'll probably create a workshop out of it. Who knows? But the main thing is it's my workshop. It's my laboratory, and I can create how it's going to work for me to clear it out, clean out all this stuff.
That's fabulous, and any way we can support you in doing it, we'll support you. And, to me, the power of the worksheet is so empowering. And when we clean out the lies, the things that we believe are true and the things we get tricked into believing and selling to ourselves, it's like Carolyn just shared with us, and basically what she did, the first time she called, I'm really upset because my daughter is in rage. And that was a lie she would tell herself that would keep her in her upset. When she got to, and Carolyn, I hope it's okay that, you've been so brave to share it, I assume it is, when she got to, my daughter isn't causing this pain in me at all. I am, and was able to let go of that lie, she could heal. Folks, please take a lesson from that. If you're sitting in the world right now and you're in your comfy finger-pointing blame seat, I'm only experiencing this because of them, you can't change that part of your mind.
Uh-huh.
You can't heal that part of your mind. And, it's like the lies we tell ourselves. I forget who it was. I think it might have been Lincoln who asked people the question. If you have a dog and you call the dog's tail a leg, how many legs does the dog have?
5.
No, it has 4. Just because you called it a leg doesn't make it a leg.
Oh, yes.
But interestingly enough, most people's minds will trick them into, if I call it that, then the dog has 5 legs. And, it's like it's such a cool, simple example of the lies we tell ourselves. I'm an upset because you did this, and what I'll do once I tell myself that lie. Now, most people won't stop and think, gee, I knew this state of mind years, decades before I ever met this person I'm currently blaming it on. But I can create the same hallucination of calling the dog having 5 legs. I can create the same hallucination that this person is responsible for my state of mind. And if I just, beat up on them enough or get rid of them or run away, then I'll be okay. But the problem with the geographic cure is I get to take all of that along with me. When I say, I'm only feeling this because of you, that doesn't make it true any more than if we call the dog's tail a leg, the dog has 5 legs. So it's just another way of looking at this idea of all the lies we tell ourselves, and we keep ourselves in our trauma because we're unwilling to be responsible and to forgive and to take that creatorship role. So I acknowledge you for stepping out and being willing to do that, Julie. It's just fabulous.
Yes, and just to remind you, what I'm clearing is covertness in all of its forms, which I presume is just one big, huge version of hostility, covert resentment, covert this, stuff that we keep in ourselves. And so I'm getting it out on the table.
Yeah, you might want to watch the, I believe it's the Getting the Stress You Need video. I'm not sure. I think it's Getting the Stress You Need that has the chart for the physiological effects of emotional suppression. And one of the stages down the ladder from life to death is moving into covert hostility, moving into where I get to blame you for what's going on in my mind and get to play out my hostility toward you. And it's a really important phase to undo, to go back through and to clean up and to clean out. So I just am so delighted that you're out there doing it and on the team and just doing your work. It's fabulous. It's just, what a contribution.
Thanks. All right, I'll let you go. I know you've got people, and thanks. Love you. Bye. Thanks.
Okay, Michael, we do have another call, and we do have another caller, and I believe it's probably Rex, and I think that chart's in Empowered to Heal.
Empowered to Heal? Okay, cool. Thank you, sweetie.
Rex, you're on.
Hello there. Hi, Michael and Jeanne.
Hey, welcome. Happy belated Thanksgiving.
Thank you. I'm a little winded. I'm listening to your program while I'm clearing some brush. So I wanted to acknowledge you, Michael, and thank you again for a lot of things, but primarily the other day when I got cut off, it was really interesting. I was listening and talking and sharing, and I paused, took a breath, and there was no response. I thought, I looked at my phone, and I had dropped your call. And so it was another cute addition to the mute thing we were joking about. But what I really wanted to say, and I want to share it now because it came up again, is one of the main things that I've seen in myself shifting more and more all the time, and it allows me to see it in you, so I acknowledge that, but I also think that I am seeing it in you, and I'm hearing it differently from you, and that is the ability to be vulnerable. And how you have apparently, and what brought it to my mind again is that 30 years ago when you did the workshop in Lansing that you were describing, I think I was at that workshop, or the 27 years ago, because that was about the time when we first met. And at that time, I look back at me, I look back at you, and I wonder that we had a little time together on vacation with your children when Michael J. was 5 or 6 years old, I think, if I remember correctly. He was about the same age as Joshua.
45 seconds, Rex.
Pardon me?
We're down to about 45 seconds.
Oh, well, let me just real brief. Vulnerability, the key to that is just, it's beautiful because it creates the space and the ambiance to heal. And I love you talking about the commitment again because I've really been working a lot with that consciously and intentionally. And the lady who was having the trouble with, I can't remember exactly what the conversation was, but having her do that with her family members like you've recommended since. But just wanted to acknowledge you, wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. God bless everybody. Thanks, Michael and Jeanne. Love what you do.
Thanks, Rex. We hold a space for a wondrous Holy Day season for everybody. Please bring a stranger to the show on Monday with you and get ready for the best you get of your eternal life. Tap in. 5 worksheets a day. Come on, join the team. We bless you. We honor you. Appreciate sharing the planet with you. Watch the movie Thrive. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Mind Shifters Radio with the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife, Jeanne, who present that internal Aramaic process of forgiveness. Michael and Jeanne are here every Monday through Friday on Earth Angels Radio. For more on Michael and Jeanne, please visit www.worksheets.com. whyagain.com. That's www.whyagain.com.